I'd say we're still processing it. When the earthquake happened, it was pretty overwhelming. It just took a while to sink in, because from the ground it didn't look too bad. You could see some pieces were dislodged, but as we went up, and you really got a sense of, wow, there's a lot to do here. Most of the damage was in the pinnacles and the finials and the towers of the cathedral. I'm recarving a finial that fell off the northwest tower of the cathedral. When you're carving something new, you're not restricted on how it looks. You can create whatever you want. But here, I have to be faithful to the original. That's another level of demand on me. You want to get the silhouettes correct and everything symmetrical. It'll be close. When you get it up there and see it in a line, you won't be able to pick it out. It's going to take years, and we're aware of that. We just accept that, and there's no fast way to do this. So we just got to take it one day at a time. You got to get it right for everyone else that this place is special to. It's very daunting. It's kind of intimidating when other people are so focused on what you're doing. Just puts a focus on how this is important to people, and it just reinforces that I have to do a good job and be on top of my game. Yeah, and this cathedral is only 100 years old. That's a long time for some buildings, but compared to cathedrals in Europe, they're over 1,000 years old, some of them. Knowing it's going to be up there for a long time, yeah, we got to get it right. That's the most important, is get it right. Hopefully, this one will be here for 1,000 years as well.
At Veterans Plaza in front of the Silver Spring Civic Building, a lot of people took the opportunity to hit the ice, literally. Yeah. At noontime, the ice rink was relatively busy, considering the mercury was reading in the 60s.
It's beautiful weather out. I thought since we'll probably spend most of our time on the ice, that it would be a good idea to go skating when it's warmer.
I guess that makes sense.
You can be made up.
The little ones had help from plastic buckets if they weren't trying to keep up with the adults. And if the idea of making angels in the ice on a warm, sunny day didn't grab you, just look at this. Signs of spring. Coaxed up early, fooled by Mother Nature. A perfect time to take your lunch outdoors. There was a lot of that. A lot of just lounging in some rocking chairs.
I'm getting you!
A little fun and games for the kids, some of whom were challenged on how to dress in weather like this.
I thought that I was supposed to dress with a jacket, a hat, and long sleeves.
We found some folks in shorts and some in t-shirts, and some with an interesting spin on why the temperature is so warm this winter.
It's like people, they always worry about the weather. Well, stick around, it'll change.
Basically, Rolling Thunder is really big on awareness of POWs and MIAs, but they're also supportive of veterans from every war and making sure that the public is aware of what is going on with the veterans and the people that put their lives on the lines every day for them.
We've got to educate our kids. I get frustrated every time I have to explain to an 18 or 20-year-old what POW MIA means. When I got a 20-year-old walking up to me and goes, "What's POW MIA mean?" That's a sad note.
People generally believe that the POWs are Korean War, Vietnam, and previous. They don't know that there are POWs in a modern war. Everybody's familiar with Jessica Lynch. So outside of that, we have Bo Bergdahl. His family's out here. They're going to be speaking today, and he's currently a POW in Afghanistan right now. He was captured in 2009.
It's heart-wrenching, and it makes me feel sad that there's not more I can do, and there's not more that we can do as people to get them back.
We're here to bring attention to the fact that we still have our men and women being held in foreign lands and foreign countries from different conflicts, and we're here to bring attention to the fact that we need our people home. We don't want to see this happen again to our kids and our grandkids.
He tries to bring this home to you so that you have to kind of deal with it in your face type style, and he's done it for over 25 years.
Really shows you how bad it was for them. This was happening less than 100 years ago, so a lot of people don't know about it, but it's important.
And I don't have anything against anyone having their barbecues this weekend and having a good time, but I think if if they came to something like this, I think they'd see what Memorial Day really is and how it does affect veterans that are still alive and still here today, and how we honor the people, the men that never made it home and that are somewhat forgotten.
Swimmers, take your mark. Go!
We're here for the final selection of our Army team for the Warrior Games. It gives the soldiers a chance to show how they've recovered. In many cases, a lot of soldiers couldn't walk, couldn't swim, may have had balance issues, and the games showcase how they've improved, and you can see the transition they've made.
So as you're coming down, this is your power source, right?
Everybody just trying to fine-tune the skills that we've been working on for the last couple months and just try and put it all together.
Go!
If I'm swimming against somebody with two arms, like, they got two arms, I got one. And even still, if I trained right, I push it hard, I leave it all in the pool, there's no excuse, because there's no reason that guy should beat me.
Power, guys, power and streamline, all right? We're gonna win medals off of this.
Last year I received the gold in the 50-meter freestyle and the bronze in the 50-meter backstroke.
Go!
The competition, it's helped me mentally and physically of getting better. It pushes me to that limit on what I can do. Instead of looking at my disabilities, I look at my abilities, how to overcome adversities. I also gain a good group of friends. We work as a team. We keep pushing each other to the limits.
I have two nephews and a niece that live with me, so just striving to set the right example, be a good person, keep in shape, and just make every day count for what it's worth.
It is an event that helps really build not just the event itself, but the training and everything ahead of time that helps build them, physically, mentally, socially. So you see all that coming together, and just it's an honor to be a part of it.
Fish are jumping.
So I began going to Howard Theater in the early 50s. The line would be lined up all the way down to 7th Street, and people was going at it for each show. And that was one of the things that kids had to look forward to, is just going to the Howard Theater, seeing the shows. I remember all of them. I went to see Mom's Mabley. I like to see Ray Charles when he came into town. He put on a good show.
When you see me in misery, come on.
Howard Theater was one of the main things for entertainment, people. Well, if you'd walked in and James Brown performing, you would have to kind of start stepping to the music,
Back then, man, I'm a young kid, I didn't have the money, so I used to sneak in the band. We had a code that you could knock on the door for our signals, and the guy on the inside would open the door and we'd sneak in right quick, because it was a thing just to go to the Howard Theater.
All right, well, over the years, I've heard musicians talk about the Howard. Everybody from Jimmy Heath to, artists like Bill Cosby have all had stories about the Howard Theater. So when we learned of its restoration, we were very excited about trying to become involved. Everybody's very excited about the artists that are performing here, from Wanda Sykes to The Roots. It's not necessarily a traditional theater, because we will have table seating and dining. It's a different experience here in Washington and that nobody's doing.
I'd like to take a nice young lady there too, also for the dinner and a show. You didn't have that at the old Howard, but this Howard, you can have a dinner and a show. That would be real nice, and sit there and tell the young lady about stories about the old Howard. That would be real nice.
We're checking out the cherry blossom trees today.
They're very beautiful, and they have like a different touch to them because of how they look like. They can be in like white and then like kind of light pink. It's very unique, and I like them.
All the trees blooming at one place. I mean, it's different. You don't get to see
this any other state.
Since it's all gray and cloudy, the cherry blossoms don't look as pretty in the sunlight. It loses its effect of spring, I guess. Like when it's sunny, it's prettier, and I guess when you look at the cherry blossoms, it's happier.
I think we're doomed to having no clouds all day. Come to your right hand. No, your left hand? Okay, yeah, that's better. Oh, no flash. Despite not having the sun, I think today was a very good day.
Yesterday was a gorgeous day, but today is just fine, especially because I'm here with my best friends. I have been coming down to see the cherry blossoms for many years with my family, with my mom. This year, they really have a special meaning to me. My mother, who was Japanese, passed away, and she loved the cherry blossoms. Before she passed away, I said, "How are you going to show me that you're still with me?" And she told me when the cherry blossoms bloom. So they really are special to me this year.
Inside Metro rail stations and out. Buses too. Metro surveillance cameras are watching.
I think the pedestrians or the riders are comforted just to see them. It's like Big Brother watching over your shoulder.
But not everyone feels so safe.
The buses and the trains, they're just not secure. The children are getting robbed on them. My daughter was robbed on the Metro.
Bus drivers have been assaulted too.
I've been spit on, I've been punched, I've had things thrown at me.
It's very dangerous because the assaults have become more vicious.
And those surveillance cameras, don't count on them. Maintenance records from Metro show many are failing. During a 1-month period, Fox 5 found surveillance cameras on more than 15% of buses didn't work. Nearly half of those were buses from the Bladensburg and 4 Mile Run bus yards.
They're at their own risk because they don't know whether or not the equipment that's supposed to be there to protect them is actually working.
Jackie Jeter represents Metro's bus and rail workers. In October, a passenger stabbed a bus driver. The surveillance camera that was supposed to be rolling failed to record anything.
But that's not something that I can tell an operator when they come to me and they tell me about an assault that took place. That's not an excuse that I can give them.
More often than not, if a crime happens, the transit union claims there's a problem with the camera. Martha Smith's son found that out.
He got beat up with 3 boys jumped him on the bus and took his coat, and the camera didn't work.
At the same time, dozens of cameras were out at rail stations. Some haven't worked for a long time. One camera that wouldn't pan or tilt hasn't been repaired in more than 2 years. Another one painted over by vandals out more than 6 months.
That's really unacceptable. I don't know exactly what the excuse or the reason is for it, but that's unacceptable.
We would love to have every camera functioning, but a lot of those cameras are repeat coverage of areas.
Multiple cameras mounted in stations and on more than 1,100 buses often cover the same areas. So if one goes out, another camera can still pick anything up. Those broken cameras, Metro Transit Police Chief Michael Taborn believes, don't compromise public safety.
We feel confident that we capture pretty much everything that goes on in the system.
If working, Metro surveillance cameras have proven important to solving crimes. 3 months ago, when 2 men shot a 22-year-old passenger on a bus, leaving him for dead, video on board helped police track down the suspected killers.
Cameras they're a good investigatory tool after the fact. Sometimes they're functioning and sometimes they're not, but we don't solely depend on the camera to find out what went on.
At least 75 cameras on buses keep breaking down month after month, and some of them can't be fixed.
That's not sufficient. It just doesn't cut the mustard anymore.
And they could very well be some of those cameras that have older systems.
1/3 of Metro's buses still don't have surveillance cameras, but the transit agency says it's far ahead of other systems. It plans to have surveillance cameras on all buses in the next 6 months. Old cameras that chronically fail will also be replaced, which should improve overall camera reliability.
Well, I don't think you can really put a cost on safety.
We're paying to ride in the system, and we're not getting the value of what we're paying for. Plus, we are putting our lives in danger.
10 years ago, Metro didn't have cameras on buses, and the ones in rail stations didn't record. That all changed in 2001 when transit police officer Marlon Morales was gunned down and killed inside the U Street Cardoza station. There were cameras, but no recorded video, something that was inexpensive to fix. All riders ask now is that those cameras don't fail them.